Well, good day, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm going to try not to incur Mr. Ram's wrath, so keep it short, sweet, and to the point. We are, unfortunately, one of the only local manufacturers left when it comes to base non-mechanical tools like shovels and spades and wheelbarrows. And we've got quite a long-standing, steeped history. So I thought just to cover it quickly, I would start with our history and then get to the topic at hand. So just to have a quick recap on our history. Back in 1929, gold was discovered on the Highveld, and therefore there was a need for shovels and spades and picks to get the gold out the ground. And we went ahead and developed our first factory. By 1930, we had a total of 66 people on our payroll, and it stayed pretty much like that as the focus was very much on the mining industry. By 1942, we had a serious problem with raw material, simply because of the World War, and raw material like steel was in high demand for other purposes. And around this time, Mittal, or ISCO as it was known at the time, started and developed steel manufacturing within South Africa. And at that point, we switched all of our applications to sourcing local raw materials. In 1950, Mittal again started expanding their steel production, and in turn, the demand for product increased and the gold rush really started gathering momentum. And we therefore built our second factory. And in 1973, Mittal went and opened up the Newcastle plant. And due to the location to Newcastle, we opened another factory in Ladysmith. So at this point in time, we had 3 factories manufacturing quite extensive range of products that catered for all sectors of the marketplace, from mining, agriculture, construction, and forestry, all the way through to the nice-to-haves in the gardening and DIY in the latter years. In 2019, we celebrated our 90 years of existence here in South Africa. And then also in 2019, a very proud moment for us, another 2 long-standing quality-driven brands which tied into our portfolio. As the cornerstone of Lasher is built on quality tools, we acquired both the Okapi and the Vickers brand. The Okapi and Vickers brand, what normally happens in today's times is the brands are purchased and then the product manufacturing is taken offshore. We acquired it because we believe in our proudly South African roots and we wanted to keep it local. So we now have those 2 brands that complement our range. 2020, we employ over 600 people. And I think the important thing is, especially off the back of COVID, when we talk about the economic effect of creating jobs within South Africa, just looking at this slide, you will see the knock-on effect of having those 600 people employed. It's not just 600 people. It expands to the people that we get our raw material from, safety equipment, labels, logistics. So the 600, if you want to look at a pyramid effect, can turn to 6,000, can turn to 60,000 people. End up being very, very reliant on those 600 people having jobs. And that's why we have always been very true to our proudly South African roots, the importance of it for the economy going forward. So to the point at hand, creating a brand. And without a doubt, creating a brand is the easy part. Back in the day, we had the 2 cornerstones in our starting period, which was simply quality and service. Since then, we have obviously, in order to get the brand created, No problem. We stuck to those two basic principles, which has served us exceptionally well. But then when it comes to sustaining a brand, here is where you have a requirement of continuous work. I think all too often big brands are built up, and then there's a habit of relying on that brand to carry you through the process. And that is not the answer to the equation. So when it comes to sustaining a brand, consistency is key. And we basically use the cornerstones of what we refer to as the word passion. And if you take each one of the first letters of the word passion, these are the pillars that built our business and, more importantly, sustained our business. The P in passion for being proactive, assertive, and that's very important. There's nothing wrong with being strong in your industry, but it's a very fine line between assertive and arrogance, and you never want to stray across that line. Support, service, initiative, opportunity, and most importantly, the emphasis is on never surrender, never relax, never get complacent. So if I have a look and take that down to 4 basic issues, product availability is incredibly important. So we boast a 98% first-time supply rate across 1,200 SKUs or products. Accessibility to that product is incredibly important. Product quality, as I say, is a cornerstone that has been with us right from the beginning. And a point that is everybody tends to not want to talk about the elephant in the room, but brand message is absolutely vital. In these trying times like we're having now, off the back of COVID, times are tough, people are looking to cut expenses, and I implore you, as hard as it is, everybody always goes to the marketing budget and says, well, there's an easy place to cut. It is the worst thing you can do. Brand message is absolutely imperative. People are not going to buy your product if they don't know about it. There's the old saying of, you know, without marketing, it's like sitting in a dark room and winking. You know what you're doing, but nobody else does. So seriously, whatever you do going forward, make sure that you have enough in your coffers to get that brand message out there. All of these things culminate in one thing, and that's very simply reputation. You either have a good one or you have a bad one. And while you're focusing on servicing your customer and getting everything done and you give it 100%, unfortunately, things do go wrong. And when they go wrong, that's when you got to up your game and give it 150%. Some of our biggest customers today are customers that we have onboarded out of a poor service or a poor quality issue. So you're never going to get quality right 100%. You can get poor raw material, which happens every now and again. We're experiencing it now in South Africa. The timber industry is not great, and the quality of timber is not great. But when you have that failure, make sure you address the issue with that customer very, very swiftly and succinctly and fix the problem. Because at the end of the day, that's all the customer wants. So simply put, keep the promises you make to your customers. Right, if we have a look at this, the proudly South African logo. It's simply not enough to just be considered a badge. The proudly South African logo is not a badge to be worn, but it is rather a statement to be lived. You have to believe in your core principles. If you don't, you've got nothing to build on. So that belief in taking control of your destiny, the belief in, like we have done, keeping everything in-house as much as possible so that you can control the quality of your product, plus all the other things I've mentioned, give you that 90 years durability. So Simply put, proudly South African, trusted durability has been our winning formula, and that's what I wanted to share with you today. And like I said, one issue that is very difficult to maintain, especially in a business as you grow it, is the need to be humble. If I go back to the Coca-Cola wars between Pepsi and Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola thought that they had it all sorted and they didn't need to spend money on marketing because they had such a strong brand. And what they saved in marketing expenses in 1 year took them over 10 years to get back to that same point, to get their sales back to that same point. So simply put, have the humility, never stop selling. That's the key. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate the time.